So now that you got the e-drill inside your shop, let's unbox it. To do so, unlatch these clips here. There are 5 of them. And we'll pull the door out of the way. Inside the box, you've got your box that houses your touchscreen display, as well as your side post, and you've got your e-drill. Pull the e-drill out, you want to take care to not drop it. So it'll come out nice and slow, wheel it out a little bit, let the back wheels hit, and then slowly pull it out and set it down. Get the box out. Let's get this crate out of the way so we can build this thing. So to build the e-drill, you're gonna need your maintenance kit, you're gonna need a 4mm Allen key, and you're gonna need a 3mm Allen key. Let's start with getting the side post and the touchscreen display on. Inside our box here, we pull out our side posts, and inside a little baggie, you've got a Allen key and your sets of screws. On the front here, there's a protective cover. Just remove that. That just protects the cannon plug there on the side. You're gonna want to save this piece just in case you have to ever ship this thing back. So we're gonna put the post on as such. Notice the square hole is gonna go right around that cannon plug we just uncovered. And we'll lightly mount our screws before tightening them down. Now that our screws are in place, we take our 3mm Allen key and tighten them all down, and then we'll get working on the touchscreen display. Okay, post is on. Let's put the touchscreen on. We're going to feed the cable through this clamping portion here, then down through the tube. On the back, we're going to use the remaining 4 screws to mount our touchscreen display to the post. So once we have all 4 in place, we'll tighten them down. And then we'll go ahead and hook up our cannon plug here. There's a master key on this, like every cannon plug. So just find the detent. Once it clicks in, screw it until it stops, and you're good. On the side of the touchscreen display, you've got a little lever here that will allow you to move the touchscreen display around as needed. Lock that down, and we can't move it anymore. With this excess cable here, just pull it up, give yourself a little service loop, and stuff it back down inside there to keep it all nice and clean. Now let's turn it around and we'll put the side holster on. So for your side holster, you're gonna need to use a 4mm Allen key. This is located inside your tool cart, and we'll build it. To do so, you want to start first by taking out the small e-drill portion, your 3 long screws, and your 3 spacers. So as you do these screws, you're going to put them through the small portion that says e-drill, flip them over, and put your spacers on. Then you take this portion of it, your J portion, and line up these 3 holes, J going down, over these 3 screws you just put in. Inside your bag, you've got a couple T-nuts. Thread these on lightly, just so they stay in place. Then take your 2 small screws and your T-nuts, put those on the lower portion. So when you're done with the installation of the screws on this thing, it'll look just like that, nice and loose. Have all your nuts angled up like that. We're gonna put these down inside these slots. Then you wanna quickly tighten them down to make those T-nuts turn over, make sure they're latched into place. On these top ones, you can actually see if they're going over and tightening up. And just like that, your e-drill is built up and ready to commission. So now we've built our e-drill up, let's get ready to service it. First off, we need to put in 208 to 240 volts at 20 amps, which we've got right here connected to the wall. So I'm gonna grab my power cord, and we're gonna plug it into the system. Now this is just a slip fit plug, so we're just gonna put it over, push it up, and turn the e-drill on. There are no startup or shutdown procedures, so just plug it in, turn it on, it'll boot up and get you ready to go. What we're gonna need for this job is a bucket full of water. Tap water will do just fine. There's no need to use deionized water or distilled water or anything like that. Tap water does just fine. And we'll need our service tubes out of our maintenance kit. So we're gonna wait for the screen to boot up right now, and once it does, we can get ready to fill. So now that our screen is booted up, you'll notice first off it says water level low, run top off procedures. Well, it's because we sent it to you bone dry, and the e-drill is not going to work until you fill it with water. So let's do that right now. We're going to take our servicing tube, put the large black portion into the thicker blue vacuum side of the panel here, and do the smaller side into the smaller one. Give them a nice little tug to make sure they're installed properly. Next, we're going to take our other side of the tube, put it down in the bucket of water. Now what we're going to look for when we hit on the screen here, we want to make sure we see a nice bubble of water go up and into the machine. That means we've got good vacuum on it. So on the touchscreen display, we're going to hit maintenance on the bottom left. Then we're going to have top off. And again, we're going to see a nice bubble of water moving up and into your e-drill. And now we're going to wait until the system fills all the way. Once it gets all the way full, it's going to automatically turn the pumps off for you. So no need to worry about overfilling or watching it. It'll do it automatically. So now we've got our tank full light and our pumps automatically shut off. We're done, right? Not quite. Now we've got to purge all the air out of the system. So to do that, we're gonna come back to our maintenance screen here and push empty sediment tank. Now hold on to the end of this thing because you're gonna get 80 PSI of water running down the hose of this guy. Notice all the air coming, there's no water moving yet. We gotta get all that air out. Got our nice stream now. We're gonna let the pump run until it's totally empty. Again, it will automatically shut off at that point. It's empty. Now on the maintenance screen here, it says, are you emptying the sediment tank, yes or no? Yes, we'll reset the sediment counter. Well, we're not actually doing that maintenance. We'll talk about that later on in this course. So we're gonna push no here to not reset any counters, put the hoses back down inside the water and hit top off. Again, watching for that bubble to come inside. We're gonna do this same process 3 or 4 times to make sure that all the air is purged out of the system. So now we got our tank full light again. We'll do the same process 2 more times, emptying and then filling. So we just did our 4th empty cycle. Now's a good time to check our vacuum on it. So we're gonna push no on the sediment canner, we're not changing that. We're gonna grab our vacuum gauge, and that says a nice thick blue cable on it, and it's read in inches of mercury. We're gonna remove the servicing tubes by pushing in on the black ring and pulling out. And we're going to install the vacuum gauge into the vacuum port. And we're gonna come to the touchscreen display, we're gonna hit top off. This gauge should rise to 10 inches of mercury within a minute. And once it gets to 10 inches of mercury, we're gonna push that button again to stop the pump from moving. And we want the gauge to stay right there. Okay, so we're at 10 inches of mercury. Hit the button again to stop the pump. Make sure the needle does not move. It's not moving, so we know you have good vacuum. Now let's fill the tank up, hit top off, let the water come. Once it's all the way full, we'll let the hose hang out in their bucket for another 30 or so seconds just to pull any excess water it wants to pull up into it. Then we're gonna check our system pressure. Okay, now that our system's full, we can disconnect our servicing tubes by pushing in on the black ring and pulling out. And now we're gonna check our pressure. To do that, we grab our pressure gauge, it's the black tube, red in PSI, install it to the pressure port. Then we're gonna hit empty sediment canister. That's gonna get us to 80 PSI, which is where we wanna be at. So you can see we're right about 80, 85, 90, that's perfect pressure for e-drill. Once we're there, hit the pump to turn it off. We're gonna select no, and we can disconnect by pushing in and pulling out on this piece again. So now that our system is full, primed, and pressure and vacuum checked, we are good to move on for the day. In this course, I'm gonna go into the hand tool training and then a little bit about locators and adapters, and then we'll get ready to actually make some cuts in the system.